Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs over at the Department of Homeland Security. Tricia McLaughlin live with us in studio. Tricia, nice to see you as always. A lot of news to get to.
A lot of news, Blake. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with what Allie was reporting. What can you tell us about San Francisco?
I can't get too ahead of our ICE enforcement operations or ahead of the president, but I will say there will be no safe haven in the United States, whether that be Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, or San Francisco. We do have ICE officers on the ground in San Francisco. That's not a change in posture, but look what we saw out of Los Angeles. We arrested 7,000 illegal aliens, many of which had horrendous criminal convictions on their record, gang members, known and suspected terrorists. We're expecting to see similar out of San Francisco. So
I understand you won't get into the details, and I get it, but should we expect a stepped-up presence there?
I think you can expect a stepped-up presence there and in any of these sanctuary cities, because if these politicians would actually do their job and protect the public and not have a revolving door of justice, the federal government wouldn't have to step in and remove these violent criminals.
There was just a lengthy, I don't know, like an hour or so with the president in the Oval Office, and he was asked about California and the Governor Gavin Newsom there. Let me play this for you, get your reaction on the other side.
Well, Gavin has to be careful. Remember that when I first came in, they had a terrible riot in Los Angeles. They had the fires, which shouldn't have happened. They didn't have the water for the fires. They should have had the water coming in from the Pacific Northwest. They didn't have the waters. They didn't have water in the hydrants or the sprinklers. So they had the fires, and then they had the riot. And if we didn't go and take care of that riot, you would have lost Los Angeles. You would have canceled the Olympics.
He went on to say that Gavin has to be careful. What does he mean by that?
You'd have to ask the president himself, but I know electorally he has to be very careful. And Los Angeles and San Francisco, a lot of those citizens aren't happy with his governance, whether it be over those wildfires or whether it be the crime that we're seeing out of San Francisco. We just, in this year itself, 500 deaths due to overdoses. People want those drug traffickers and human traffickers out of those cities, and the federal government's going to deliver that for them.
All right, let me turn your attention now to New York. Letitia James. We are launching a portal to review federal immigration enforcement in New York after yesterday's ICE raid on Canal Street. She goes on to say New Yorkers who were present should submit videos or photos, and we will review and investigate any violations of the law. This was the video that played live on our air yesterday for about an hour or so. What would you say to the New York Attorney General?
Does the Attorney General know who we arrested off of her streets? Because she should. And to really set the scene here is 9 aliens who are illegally in this country from West Africa. And it wasn't just the fact that they were selling counterfeit goods. They also had rap sheets, long rap sheets of violence, domestic violence, drug trafficking, burglary, armed robbery, assaulting law enforcement, drug possession. It goes on and on. These are individuals who you do not want in your community. And if she was really doing her job enforcing the law and removing these individuals.
What would you say to those? Like, I was watching this live, Tricia, and there were folks who were upset. They were angry. There were federal law enforcement. It was a big presence. They were shouting, shame, shame, shame. For the folks who don't want this on their streets, what would you say?
They don't want burglars, drug traffickers, domestic violent offenders off of their streets. Do they even know what they're protesting for? Because I think it is unbelievable. What about the victims of those criminal illegal aliens? What are the victims of domestic violence, of drug trafficking, of the law enforcement who are assaulted? Where are they saying shame on those criminals? That's what they should be shouting shame on. And actually, Letitia James and these politicians, Cuomo, Mandami, whoever it be, they should be thanking these law enforcement for actually stepping up and doing the leadership that these politicians should be doing themselves.
Are you sending any message here to Zohran Mamdani?
My message is that we will continue.
The government, I mean, here with these raids, as he's down the stretch of and seems to be, you know, the next mayor.
This isn't about politics. This is about public safety. The fact of the matter is these politicians have let rampant crime occur in their cities, and so the federal government, under President Trump and Secretary Noem, are stepping in to actually protect the public.
Let me leave you with this. There was a story in The Atlantic just the other day. It says ICE's athletically allergic recruits. And according to the report, it says more than a third have failed the physical fitness test so far, according to 4 officials, impeding the agency's plan to hire, train, and deploy 10,000 deportation officers by January. To pass, recruits must do 15 push-ups, 32 sit-ups, and run a 1.5 miles in 14 minutes. Is that the case?
No, that's total sensationalism. What happened here is we have 150,000 applicants for 10,000 jobs.
Okay.
So a third is pretty standard. We're letting these people go to the training, pass, fail. This is very standard.
So you expect to be staffed up?
Oh,
even with this?
Absolutely. The fact of the matter, 150,000 applications for 10,000 jobs. This is standard statistics that we're seeing all the time.
All right. Tricia McLaughlin, Department of Homeland Security, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you coming in tonight.
Thank you.
With a lot of news.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.